Hey folks, Elder Law Care attorney Patrick Kelleher coming to you from elderlawcare.com. Folks, I've been getting a lot of questions from my YouTube subscribers. Hey Patrick, what's going on with this new bill they call the One Big Beautiful Bill? Signed into law July 4th, 2025 by President Donald Trump, passed by Congress. So let's get started here. All right, folks. So first and foremost, the One Big Beautiful Bill I want to address, it does not affect the retirement savings accounts. Like those laws are covered under the Secure Act. That was increasing the tax deferred of 401ks, IRAs from 70 and a half up to 73 years of age. In 2022, there was a new law passed called the Secure Act 2.0. So the Secure Act is still in place. The Big Beautiful Bill does not affect that. The estate tax, folks, federal estate tax under the One Big Bill Act, it's not going to drop down to 6 or 7 mil any longer. It's going to go up to 15 million. So for very wealthy people, these are significant tax benefits to reduce or avoid the second-headed monster, as I refer to it, which is the estate death tax on the federal level. Of course, if your state has a state-level estate tax, like here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, is $2 million estate tax exemption amount. You have to be mindful and aware of that if your state has an estate tax. Well, let's talk about some of the benefits of the One Big Beautiful Bill. There's going to be a senior tax deduction. It's temporary in nature up until year 2028, where seniors can deduct $6,000 per person, or a married couple $12,000 for couples on their income tax returns. Okay, there's an income threshold, $75,000 for single individuals or $150,000 for couples. So that is helpful for folks who are living on fixed incomes, maybe a pension and Social Security in retirement. So it removes the federal income tax on Social Security also for most seniors. Currently, my research indicates about 64% of seniors are not paying income tax on their Social Security. Well, under the One Big Beautiful Bill, that is now going to increase to about 90% of seniors not paying federal income tax on their Social Security income. That's a big jump. Also, healthcare and Medicaid funding cuts are going to be about $1 trillion in Medicaid reductions over the next 10 years. So that's where the big savings is right there. And that is probably a detriment to lower income, indigent, impoverished people who are receiving Medicaid or mass health benefits here in the Commonwealth, because it's going to be a trickle-down effect. If they're going to be saving around $1 trillion in Medicaid over the next 10 years, that's going to affect the programs throughout the country at the state level. So it's important to know that. Let's talk about Massachusetts specifically, folks. Medicaid program cuts in Massachusetts are estimated about $1.75 billion. So I can see why the elected officials are concerned about that, because Massachusetts Mass Health could be stripped of about $1.75 billion in federal funds for the Medicaid program. Okay, so that's going to be challenging for folks, seniors who need these benefits, folks who are indigent and impoverished. Another provision in the law is going to require younger folks age 19 to 64 receiving mass health benefits. They're going to have to work 80 hours per month. And in lieu of working, they have to show evidence that they're attempting to obtain employment. It's important to reference that folks 65 and over are exempt from that 80-hour per month work requirement if they're receiving Medicaid or mass health benefits, okay? So long-term care facilities like skilled nursing facilities, nursing homes, likely there's going to be reduced services because the financial federal funding is going to be reduced significantly. And that's going to be a challenge for some folks. What is the elected officials doing about this? Well, they're not sitting back. They are taking action according to my research. So Governor Healy here of the Commonwealth, Senators Warren and Markey have filed litigation to block or mitigate the federal cuts on the Medicaid program. So stay tuned, folks. I will continue to monitor this and I will continue to share updates, okay? So 65 plus on Mass Health Standard are also going to be required to automatically enroll in Medicare at age 65. And from my research, you want to consider things, if you fall into that category, consider things like Medicare Advantage program, Medigap program, also what they call Section 1115 programs as well. From my experience, people on two different sides of the aisle here, if you're a middle or upper class individual, the one big beautiful bill will probably be more beneficial to you because it's fairly significant tax savings. And Massachusetts, from my research, is one of the largest elderly populations per capita, meaning that Massachusetts has a lot of seniors, and seniors will keep, the bottom line, more of their retirement funds because of this one big beautiful bill being passed, meaning that you're going to be taxed less. Okay, you still have to be concerned about the Massachusetts estate tax, and I want to reiterate that is, if you have assets, if you have a home or maybe even a second home, if you have qualified retirement accounts like an IRA, 401ks, things of that nature, the metaphorical second-headed monster is the Massachusetts estate death tax. It's set at a fairly low threshold of $2 million, meaning the day you check out and go up to your cloud, if your estate is greater than $2 million, the Massachusetts Department of Revenue will have a lien on your estate, and your loved ones will be obligated to file an M706 estate tax return within 9 months from your date of passing, and possibly pay estate death tax to the Massachusetts Department of Revenue. This is the estate death tax. The good news, the solution is, you need to identify that now when you're alive and well. So long as you put the proper tax planning in your revocable trust called marital trust planning, bypass tax credit shelter trust planning, you need to have your state elder law attorney put that proper language in your trust, your treasure chest, because that way you're strategically reducing or potentially avoiding the estate tax altogether. Reducing the estate tax to the greatest degree possible. Not automatic, folks. So do your homework. All right, folks, let's look at some more specific benefits here. In Massachusetts, under the one big beautiful bill, the income tax brackets will also decrease, which is a tax savings for working class families, middle class and upper middle class folks. So the current income tax bracket, or the previous income tax bracket most recently, was 22%. That is dropping to 20% income tax bracket, which results, bottom line, less tax dollars you're paying. Also, the tax bracket of 12% is dropping to 10.5%. Also, there's this nice child tax credit. If you are a grandparent raising a grandchild, from my research, you can deduct now $2,500 per child that you are helping raise. You can make that deduction on your, typically your 1040 income tax return. So folks, there's my piece on the one big beautiful bill. Folks needing long-term care facilities, skilled nursing facilities, and things of that nature, it can be a little scary for them with the uncertainty and the unknown of the level of benefits that may or may not be available in the future. So folks, my advice is, do not sit back, continue to get educated. Folks, be sure to click the subscribe button, click that notification bell, because we will continue to keep you updated with future updates on the one big beautiful bill. Folks, thanks for joining us here today at elderlawcare.com.